to CoinDesk Live. I'm Jen Sanasi here with my co-host, Sam Ewan. We are broadcasting from the Museum of the Future in Dubai, where OKX has announced that it is now available to retail and institutional investors in the United Arab Emirates. Joining us now is OKX Chief Marketing Officer, Haider Rafique. Haider, welcome back to our wonderful studio here. We are having several conversations with you today. We've talked about business strategy a little bit. We've already talked about strategy in the Middle East a little bit. And now we want to talk about marketing strategy. And I'm sure that as a marketer, you are navigating some of the same business and regulatory challenges that we've had in other conversations on the show here today. So I'd love to hear more about that. With the launch of this new product for retail and institutional investors here, what are the marketing challenges and opportunities that you are dealing with?
So no challenges thus far. I mean, look, we working with policymakers, with a new regulator. There's a bit of a learning curve, but VARA's made it quite easy. I don't think anything has come up that I would particularly find challenging today. We have a lot of marketing around the city and a lot of activation. I don't know if you noticed, we've got some takeovers around the neighborhood here. And we're doing some stuff here at the Museum of the Future. So I don't expect, hopefully, any big challenges. And I do expect that we're going to go quite big in Dubai, not just today, but I think leading up to the end of the year.
Well, you're known for going quite big, aren't you?
We try.
I mean, Haider, you work with Man City, McLaren, Tribeca Film. You guys go sort of top tier on your partnerships. Can you tell us a little bit about the partnership strategy? How does that reach both the mass consumer, but also the institutional consumers? And how will that apply here in the UAE?
Well, I think the first philosophy is less is more. It's a principle we really live by. So when we began doing these sponsorships, you can imagine internally, there are a lot of people who would, have ideas. They even have ideas today. But the reality is we find that the best recall comes from investing in 3 really important partners and then just going all in. And that's really the core of what we're doing with, brand partnership platforms. We have been a bit lucky, but I think there were some bets that we made 3 years ago that panned out really well in our favor. When we signed with Man City, we were the training kit partner. Following that year, they won the triple treble. Which was a really exciting milestone. I think no other Premier League team has accomplished that. McLaren, for every dollar I could give away for people asking me why we sponsored McLaren when they were on the back of the grid, now it feels pretty good. Mm-hmm. We are, I think, T-5 Grand Prix before the conclusion on the Constructor Championship, and I think McLaren's looking really great. And Tribeca, it serves a very different purpose. Our goal with Tribeca has been to inspire creators and bring them closer to the Web3 technology, not just NFTs, but overall storytelling. And I think they serve a very different purpose for us. But these partnerships have been really incredible. And look, 3 years ago, we didn't really have a business card. It wasn't easy to acquire these relationships. And one of the things two things that happen as a result of these partnerships is, one, our brand gets a ton of validation because these partners, McLaren, Man City, they have extreme due diligence. We had to go through it. They know a lot about our business, and we got them to be comfortable with us. So that was a huge validation. And I think the second is that I forgot my second point.
Well, okay, I just want to pull on that thread a little bit. So Man City, having an amazing run since you guys have been involved. McLaren also, both in sports that are have become the most popular sports in the world. Football is always, but I think McLaren's an F1, right? There's a passion and a freneticism around that sport that I've not seen something like that for quite a long time. And with Tribeca, as you mentioned, the creator economy, everyone in the world wants to be a creator. It's the most popular, job for young kids these days. So it does feel like you've tapped into something, which is a lot of people spend money, but they're not, you're not sponsoring Taylor Swift's new tour. You're very specifically going to areas that probably have a lot of alignment with the people who might be interested in investing in crypto. It's it's vibrant. Tell us a little bit more about how you look at that, though, through the audience lens. And how do you really communicate the message then to that audience that they should be considering OKX for their crypto investing?
Well, first principle is, when you take someone out on a date, you don't propose to them on the first date. Hopefully, it takes a few dates before you get there. And I see the same relationship with people and brands. The way we leverage these partnerships is we want people to be exposed to our brand and our character a few times before they will get into the consideration stage. So that's a big focus of ours, is we think long-term about the people who are getting exposed to us before we start to actually retarget them and explain to them what our services are about and whether they should give crypto a try or not. I think those are just mannerisms we really believe in. I think the other piece with these partnerships is you got to invest in things that you really know and you want to spend some time with, because it's one thing to put your logo on Man City shirt or the McLaren car, but it's another to activate them in a really big way. And I can comfortably say we activate these properties very differently. So we're the only brand, I think, almost, perhaps even on the entire grid. Don't quote me, but I believe I have high confidence we're one of the brands that co-designs liveries with the racing team. We did that year one, did it year two. This year we've done it twice. We did it in Monaco with celebrating the Senna anniversary, and then we did another one in Singapore. And the recall from those activations has been really, really strong. So a lot of the purpose that we have is, let's not just throw our logo on there. We want to make sure we want to spend time with them. So we are very selective in that criteria, and then do the right thing in terms of activating them.
3 big name partnerships. It's not just luck that they've turned out to be so successful for you, right? And so I can imagine there's a lot of thought that goes into the strategy and who you want to partner with. Talk to me about that decision-making process. What are the pros and cons you're weighing when you're looking at what brand you're going to partner with and how you're going to target their audience?
I think we've sought people or properties who have the spark in their eyes and they want to win. And they're perhaps not on the top when we're actually in discussions with them, but you can see that the momentum is there and the drive is there. That was very clear with Man City, and that was really clear with McLaren Formula One team. It was a heart-sinking bet with McLaren, especially last year when the performance wasn't that great. I think you probably caught an episode on Drive to Survive where Zach and I are going back and forth about the performance. But look, this year they've turned it around. Our investment's gone towards the right things that they're building at McLaren. So I think those things play a really big part. Is you want to look at someone's eyes and see the winner, see the fight in them, and I think that's what we really look for in partners.
Haider, we were talking to Hong a minute ago, and one of the things that we were talking about, but I think is really in your camp, is the idea that crypto is, from a marketing perspective, is regulated almost as much as it's trying to be regulated from a financial perspective. So when you think of how you're doing marketing, and that can be from general advertising to these partnerships, do you have to pull out a map and start to put pins in and say, okay, we can do this here, we can't do this here? Or do you really try to say, how do we get the most people with a sort of core message and let them find the brand on their own?
Our marketing strategy is always about building brand first and really focusing on that. And when you look at the ways we would build brand, it's not so much commercial driven or conversion driven. That gives you a little more forgiveness on the policy side, whether it's advertising policy globally in Europe or other parts of the world, or crypto related regulations. So the first 3 years, it was more about let's get our logo on the right places and reach the masses, billions and billions of people. And so I think we've passed that stage. Now, when it comes to where the rubber hits the road, so to speak, on regulations and policies, is at a local level. Our local teams, like say Rafique or some of the other regional GMs, when they do marketing campaigns that are conversion-led campaigns, I think they have more sort of a burden to make sure that the regulators and local policymakers are going to approve them. We have a really good process. We run everything by quite proactively, and I think we've built the intelligence to know the do's and don'ts very clearly. But look, it's a regulated industry, or it's getting very regulated globally. There's always there's going to be challenges, but lucky for us, we are not a very transactional brand, so it helps us sort of avoid some of those pitfalls.
Okay, last question before we wrap up. I know we got to go, but what new user segments or geographies do you have your eyes on from a marketing perspective?
I think the creator economy is perhaps the most compelling. We are about to release a research report in the next 30 days about what the blockchain applications and utilities look like based on blockchains over the next 5 years. I think we would like the world to focus more on non-speculative utilities. There's a lot of token speculation right now in our industry, and some of the real-world use cases sort of get put on the side. So our hope is that with this research report that we publish, people will sort of open their mind that blockchain has more promise than just token speculation. And I think that's going to be a core focus of ours going forward.
Haider, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you later.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.